about himself. And a couple days later, he gets a call that Mr. Warhol wants to meet him, and he goes there. Welcome back to my channel, guys, and today I'll be doing the rise and fall of Jean Michel Basquiat. I was requested to do this video, but I never ended up getting to do it. But here I'm doing it now. So Mr. Basquiat was born on December 22nd, 1960 in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn. Out. He was generally happy-go-lucky, and he was very big into the art. So always drew, had a lot of sculptures. I'll include a lot of. I will include a lot of photos. Um, just basically anything he could get his hands on, he would make into art. And he was born to a Puerto Rican mom and a Haitian father. He grew up with two sisters. I cannot remember his sisters' names, but I will include them. Um, um, but yeah. Um, he his life was pretty good, and once he was 6 years old, no, once he was 5 years old, he got hit by a car. Like, two people wanting two opposite things for the same person. Yeah. But basically he ran away from home, and he was living in Tompkins Square Park. He was living in Chinatown. He basically sleeping on park benches, his sort of come up way. So he was walking down the street one day in Manhattan. This is the late 70s, and with one of his friends, and he happens to run into Andy Warhol. And as you know, Andy Warhol was a very big artist, and he was a pretty popular artist at the time. He did a lot of work, and a lot of people liked him. And yeah, he was the it person of that time period, as they would say now. But so as soon as Jean Michel saw Andy Warhol, he was like, "Oh my God, I I want to see if I can give him my artwork and see if he can help me get some connections." Blah blah blah. This and that, and yeah, he ends up following him into a restaurant, and then basically going up to his table. And this was the late 70s, and I mean, I assume this was New York was pretty pretty rough at that time. But yeah, he ends up going to the restaurant, and he ends up going up to his table and introducing himself and giving him his artwork and showing him his sort of thing, and basically informing Mr. Warhol about himself. And a couple days later, he gets a call that Mr. Warhol wants to meet him, and he goes there, and they talk about Andy likes his work, and basically it's just says, "Oh, I want to work alongside you, and we can make some great artwork." And then they start making artwork together, but earlier in his career, people didn't know that John was making making the artwork, and people thought it was Andy, and then people figured it out, and they were calling him, "Oh, Basquiat is your protege," blah 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 blah, and yeah, and he starts feeling like, oh, he's living in Mr. Warhol, Andy Warhol's shadow, and he starts getting to heroin. He did heroin, and they start doing more. I mean, they obviously do more work, but there's still sort of like a rift in their relationship, basically. And they do a lot of work, and then unfortunately Andy Warhol passes away. Now obviously John is obviously distraught and is very sad and feels some type of way, but John still keeps doing work, but is still getting to heroin, and his life is kind of going to shambles. And basically he stops doing artwork for a couple years. His sisters and his father. And thank you. If you like that video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.